Free speech is once again under scrutiny in Hong Kong ahead of the sentencing of two journalists. A court is expected to sentence ex-editors of pro-democracy media outlet Stan News for sedition on Thursday afternoon. It's the first trial of its kind in the territory. Beijing has cracked down on freedom in the former British colony over the last few years, following large-scale pro-democracy protests. The sentencing comes as human rights groups flag a sharp fall in press and academic freedoms in Hong Kong. Human Rights Watch has been investigating the state of academic freedom in Hong Kong, and in a recent report, the group outlines the sharp decline in the rights at the city's 8 public universities. Hong Kong's government has hit back at the report, saying it is full of malicious smears. Our reporter Rick Glauert spoke to Daniela Gavshon of Human Rights Watch.
Can you describe what sort of change is taking place in Hong Kong universities at the moment?
There's been a dramatic change over a period of time. We know that Hong Kong's universities used to be places where free speech and expression were protected as part of a liberal education traditions, certainly during British colonial rule. And now we see students and academics and administrators, especially those from Hong Kong, studying contemporary socio-political issues, who feel like they're living under a microscope, essentially. They think they have to tread carefully. They're concerned that any misstep in anything they say, they research, they write, teach, publish, who they partner with could lead them into a really precarious situation where they get into serious trouble, and it could have repercussions that could even land them in prison for years.
And the crackdown on freedom in academia is, of course, going on alongside other crackdowns in Hong Kong, particularly on the media and journalists. What sort of atmosphere is this creating in the city?
Look, people are afraid, and people are rightfully afraid, because what you've seen from the Chinese government and from Hong Kong officials is that they are is that free speech and those things that were held for so long, those democratic freedoms, are no longer. We see politically motivated convictions. We see convictions for using fundamental free speech rights, and we've seen that with in universities, but as you say, also in press freedom and in democratic institutions and processes that have been, utterly quashed. And so I think that what happens is not only do you see people at personal risk from prosecutions and, lack of fair trials and all the things that come with prosecutions now in Hong Kong, but what you also see is people self-censoring.
And what does dwindling free speech mean for both the people in Hong Kong and for the rest of the world?
Look, I think it shows the utter contempt that Hong Kong and Chinese authorities have for democratic processes, and I think they do want to send a clear message, and they want to send a clear message. It's a real turning point for Hong Kong, and I think the main thing to remember is that democracy is not a crime, regardless of what the Chinese government and its Hong Kong officials might say. It is not a crime, and freedom of expression is a fundamental human right. And so, really, what we've lost is, without the democratic freedom in Hong Kong and without the media freedom in Hong Kong, we've really lost an essential window into Hong Kong. But also, in the past, it's been an essential window for the world into China, which we have lost by not having these fundamental freedoms protected in Hong Kong.